How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the 606. If you haven't been here before, I am your host, as always, SESvince. Joining me today is one of my favorite people north of the border, my good friend, Rylan Turner from Wallop Media. How's it going, Rylan?
It's going. It's been a rough week for illness, but hopefully we're coming out the better on the other end of it. I don't know what we'll find out.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys invested in Gatorade stock, you guys might be making a pretty penny after his sickness is over and said and done with. But like I said, welcome to the 606. If this is your first time, if it isn't your first time, welcome back over here. We are going to be doing wrestling predictions episode. I did this last time with Rylan, I want to say like a year ago. We were doing Saturday Night's Main Event. I think they were doing like the first or second installment of it. We thought it would be more of a special thing than it actually turned out to be. However, WWE is having two shows this weekend. We have Clash in Italy on Sunday afternoon, as well as AAA's Noche de los Grandes on Saturday evening. And, Rylan's one of the few people I know that actually likes to tune in to AAA on a weekly basis and just, puts up with some of the slug that WWE gives us on a weekly basis as well. So, without further ado, before we get into the festivities, we actually have some announcements. We got a surprise for everybody tuning in for the first time or coming back to the show. Rylan, as you know, 606 has been gone for roughly, I want to say, about a year. We recently just came back, and in between then, I've been getting into bed with Wallop Media, doing the the Wallop rewinds with you. We eventually smuggled Justin in to the festivities as well. And you know what? Even though we've only been back for this is our second week now, I just couldn't help it and decided to get back into bed. And 606 is now dual citizens. That's right. We have now dual citizenship with Canada. We are joining forces and coming over to Wallop Media, as you guys can see on the screen if it has loaded up. There you go. Yeah. 606 Podcast coming over to Wallop. And this has been a long time coming, Rylan. Why don't you tell people how this came about initially on your end?
I am always trying to find, I'm not always trying to find. I shouldn't say that. I mean, me and you have been working together for a long time. We've been friends for years now at this point. Like you said, the Wallop Rewind you've been doing that for well over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I guess it feels like it makes sense that we continue to work together. And we continue to try and help each other get our content out there, help each other make it the best possible content it can be. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense to just kind of run everything under one umbrella. Now, for those who are wondering how this is all going to work, for the time being, you are going to be able to get 606 content on both the Wallop Media and 606 channels. We're going to slowly start integrating it over to Wallop Media in the coming weeks and months. And then eventually it will be exclusive to our network. And with, the exception of certain things, Vince has some ideas that he might want to run outside of Wallop Media. And he's more than welcome to do so. But we, at this point, we love your content, your sports stuff, especially your NBA coverage is great. And between you and Bosch, you guys have such a great energy, and that's what we want to have as a part of our team is just great energy. And you came to me with this, and I said absolutely, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's come together and put our sources together to try and make, like I said, all of our content on Wallop Media the best it possibly can be. And this is great. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, likewise, man. Likewise. Obviously, great chemistry. Enjoy working with you and Kyle. And you guys have worked with Bosch as well without me in the room, so that was really cool. So you guys do your content as well, but we are going to be focusing mostly on basketball and the wrestling and some of the nerd stuff. We recently did a Punisher recap episode of the new special on Disney Plus, and we're going to be talking about Spider Noir, the not Jack Nicholson, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that would be something else, though.
That would be something else if it was Jack Nicholson. Man, it fit the role too. But yeah, so without further ado, we're gonna do our predictions for all the matches on the 2 nights for WWE programming this weekend. And before we get started, just make sure like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, turn on the bell notification so you know when a brand new 606 drops. We're going to be doing predictions and other stuff like that as well. Also, check out Wallop Media because we are family now. Somos familia, as like think of it when like Edge joined up with Vicky Guerrero and just had like a hybrid of Mexicans and Canadians in one family. This is what that's what this is.
Scott Steiner did once call Canada Mexico North. So
yeah, there we go. So we're gonna be starting things off with Clash in Italy, just because it's the one I'm not as invested in versus the Mexico AAA product as well. Oh, also Rylan's glitching over there, so he might be taken over by the Wyatt Six at any point. So we'll see. Let's start off with the first match, and we are going to be talking about Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar 2, the rematch taking place this Sunday. And this is a match I didn't think we were actually going to get, considering the fact that Brock Lesnar left his boots and his gloves and his ripped jeans in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania. And we thought we were going to see the end of him. And I guess ticket sales weren't that great again. Maybe the buyer rates weren't what they're supposed to be. Or maybe ESPN came in calling, or TKO came in calling and said, hey, we need Brock Lesnar, even though he just retired. Let's bring him out of retirement. I know I had a very short retirement stint, but this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. If it was in fact a legit retirement.
The parallel is funny, though. The parallel is funny.
Yes.
Look, here's my thing. Like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see them do a 3-way or a 3-match series. Like, I don't think Oba needs to lose to Brock. And for whatever reason, that's how I feel like this is going down, is Brock's going to get, unless they're going to squash Brock again.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see this benefiting Obafemi at all. Right. I don't think whoever is making these calls to get Brock back here, because like that moment at WrestleMania could have like I don't get me wrong, I was still clamoring for Gunther to finish him off, but we could have got there. We could have got there a different way, and we could have waited till SummerSlam to do it. You know what I mean? Like. Mm-hmm. This just seems like a waste of an Obafemi loss. Like, God, if he loses, then
see. Here's the thing: because it's the second one, and you would think that he's not coming back just for a one-off in the Clash in Italy pay-per-view. SummerSlam is right around the corner. It's in Minneapolis. You would think they're going to do the 2 out of 3 series, which I don't want to see. Obafemi taking a loss, even like a non-clean finish, would still be like detrimental to him. Like, it's not going to hurt him like in the long run, obviously, but you got what you needed out of Brock Lesnar with Obafemi. You got the squash match. You got all the pops and all the moves set. What you got at WrestleMania, you're not going to get much more in a round 2 or round 3 matchup with these two competitors. And that's nothing against Oba. This is just the Brock Lesnar special. You're going to get suplexes. You're going to get kicked out of finishers, high impact moves. You're not going to see a technical 5-star classic. As Big E would like to say, this is just meaty men slapping meat. And, they've already slapped their meat. It's okay. I don't need to see them slap their meat anymore. So going forward, unless this is just, hey, we need to sell tickets. We have nothing creatively for these matches, so let's go ahead and just throw these rematch. Because honestly, instead of Clash of Italy, it should be a rematch in Italy, because all these matches are rematches of some sort, and we'll talk about it once we get to them. I'm going to predict Obafemi winning, and that's only just because I'm like, they'd be stupid to like have him lose in any kind of way. So this should just be like, hey, Obafemi just completely destroying him, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully that's it for Lesnar. But what do you think, man? What's your official prediction for this match?
Unfortunately, I think Lesnar's going to go over, and I think we're going to get a third match before SummerSlam, and then Oba will win that, and then we'll get some sort of again. I see Gunther and Brock, especially now that Brock's back again. Definitely see Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam. That just for me, it makes the most sense. And if you're gonna put this guy on your television, that's the direction, because at least Gunther will benefit out of it.
Yeah. I mean, unless Brock Lesnar just pulled the "I'm retiring" card just so that Gunther wouldn't retire him, and it's like, oh, I'm back, just like Rey Mysterio did at WrestleMania to join the ladder match after Seth versus Gunther was confirmed. But again, that just should just let you know that maybe guys just don't want to go out by way of Gunther, And that's nothing against Gunther. It's just that they just don't want to be another spoke on the wheel. They don't want to be just another tally for Gunther. And when he did that with Goldberg, okay, fine. When he did that to Cena, okay, that meant something. He did that with AJ, and that just kind of happened to be with the story, so it just worked. But if you're forcing these guys to retire, or you're just like, hey, just retire just for the story and the gimmick of the career killer, I think you're doing a disservice to not only these wrestlers that are retiring, but also Gunther, because then he just becomes stale. And then when there's no career to kill, you have no direction for him. And unfortunately, that's something we were looking for him going into WrestleMania, because we weren't sure what he was going to do at WrestleMania.
It's true. I will say I would agree with you if it wasn't Brock Lesnar, because I don't think Brock Lesnar gives a shit about any of that. I think if he shows up and he's told you're losing to Gunther tonight, and then that's it, I think he's like, all right, cool, paid. Like,
as long as the check clears.
Yes, exactly. That is the type of businessman Brock Lesnar is. So I don't think
that's
he gives
a fair point
about. But regardless, yeah, I unfortunately, because this match is happening, I see Brock winning.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna go Oba. You go Brock. I like this first match in, and we're already disagreeing. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's let's go to match 2. We have another rematch. Literally like a 1 week removed rematch. This was less than 2 minutes, if that. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. It was a non-title match at Saturday night's main event. Becky Lynch, through nefarious means, put the referee Jessica Carr in the way of a Soul Snatcher and got DQ'd. Because of it, we thought we were going to see this. We knew there was going to be some sort of a rematch, especially if they did that kind of like messy finish at the end. And obviously we have the rematch here, and it's for the title. I would hope it goes longer than what they had last time. If given the time frame, these two women can put on a hell of a match. Before I give my prediction, what is your take on this matchup?
Interesting, because I really enjoy this Becky character. Like, okay. I think that she's done a real service for the women's Intercontinental title. It feels like beating Becky Lynch feels like an important thing that not a lot of people get to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for Sol Ruca to get the victory here, just based on the fact that it'd be nice to get some fresh TV time for somebody who hasn't been on the main roster, and Becky can take a break. But I don't know. Like, also, I think that Becky's been doing really like some of the best work of her career as Intercontinental champion. So taking this title off of her and putting it on somebody who is, don't get me wrong, like proven in NXT, but like we don't know what her career is going to really look like. It feels quick to put the title on Sol Ruca. But I mean, again, like, I think it really depends on what their direction is for this title, because like, I feel like this title, while it's featured nicely because of the fact that a Becky Lynch is champion, the women's United States title doesn't get that sort of shine. And maybe now it's different because Tiffany's holding it. But regardless, yeah, I don't know. This one, I see Becky going over.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's also difficult too, because to your point, you don't want to be put in a situation with Sol Ruca where similar to Lyra Valkyria when she was IC champion. As great as it was for her to be the inaugural champion and to be the mid-card champion of the women's division on the Raw brand, there was no direction for that title whatsoever. You look at someone over on the SmackDown side of things, and Julia, very early on her SmackDown tenure, she became the U.S. champion, and she hasn't done much of note. So it's really up to the booking as to what they do with her. I am curious as to how they view Sol Ruca, because she hasn't come in similar to like a Javon Evans or a Trick Williams, to a lesser extent Obafemi, where they come in and they're making an impact in the division. They're coming in and they've taken losses. They've taken a few losses. Sol Ruca has already on main roster. So it just really depends. Do they want this crowning moment to happen in Clash in Italy? Or do they want this to happen on the big show? I feel like if this was like a Raw, I feel like more inclined. Like it's weird. Like a Raw title win would feel like more of a bigger instance for Sol Ruca versus winning this at Clash. So,
well, here's the thing though, and it's something that the WWE has leaned on in the last few years is they go over to Europe and these crowds are amazing. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is the moment, just simply because maybe the shock win of a Sol Ruca over Becky mm-hmm. Lynch would be such a reaction that they want to kind of capture that moment. Right. And it would also be great for Sol Ruca to have that as like her first title win moment. Again, mm-hmm. for me, it does just feel rushed.
Fair. That's a fair point. I'm trying to think what else is on this card. But I think there's at least 3 title matches. Do you before we get our official prediction here, do you see any title changes at Clash? Because you got the both. Oh, we do have 4 titles. We got 2 women's titles, and we have 2 men's top titles. So I would think one title would change hands, and I think this is the most likeliest one. So I'm gonna go Sol Ruca just because I think it just makes the most sense.
I think for just argument's sake, I'll say Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. But I do definitely think, given that we could have like this incredible crowd in Italy, they could just, fire it onto Sol Ruca just for that big pop.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. And this is by the way, just to clarify, this is who you think will win or who you want to win?
I mean, like, it's who I think will win. I don't feel like a prediction show should be what I want.
That's fair. I like that. All right, let's move on to the other match. And this is the other title match I was talking about. It's the third rematch so far that we've talked about. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley in a WrestleMania rematch. As great as it was to see Jade Cargill come back, especially have her baddies now of Michin and B-Fab, she's looked too dominant over Rhea Ripley the last couple weeks. She stood tall at Saturday night's main event in the 6-woman tag match. I don't think we're gonna see Rhea Ripley drop this title anytime soon. It might be to like WrestleMania that we see Rhea Ripley drop this title, and it could be to like someone like an Io Sky if she were to win the Chamber or the Rumble. But I think we're in store for a very long title reign on Rhea Ripley's part. So as much as I would like to see Jade win here, I think it's Rhea Ripley. What about you, Rylan?
I think it's Rhea Ripley too. I don't think it makes any sense to put it back on Jade after Rhea wins at WrestleMania. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that they had a fine match at WrestleMania, and I think it was definitely Jade's best match in the WWE. However, I don't at this point, like, what does going back to her as champion do for either of them?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
So I 100% agree with you. I think this is Rhea Ripley easily.
All right, fair enough. The first agreement we have here. All right, let's move on. This one is also technically a rematch if you think of it as a Night of Champions rematch. Oh, sorry, that one.
Backlash?
Yeah.
This one.
No, not the Backlash one. I'm talking about like Clash of Champions or whatever they do, where they do champion versus champion for the Crown Jewel Championship. Crown Jewel, there you go. Answer my own question. So it's essentially a rematch. I don't know if you've been following SmackDown, because SmackDown is probably the worst show out of the 3 on WWE programming.
I catch the highlights of everything, really.
Okay, so like just like the YouTube highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I know what's going on.
Yeah. Do you like what's going on with the Gunther and Cody story?
It's not interesting.
Okay.
It's like there's like I've kind of got to the point now where I realize that like Cody is their guy now, and like he's kind of going to be at the top for a while.
Right.
The only thing here is I'm happy that they're including Royce Keys in this.
Royce Keys is probably the one that's looked the best out of these three.
Right.
He's not even in the
sorry.
match.
I what I meant to say is I wish this was a triple threat for the title.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think Gunther needs to eat this loss, and I don't see him beating Cody. I would love it if he beat Cody, because I don't think that Cody needs the title, but
no,
I think WWE thinks Cody needs the title, and you know what, like. He's a draw. He's the draw. He's their guy.
Yeah.
So like he's a safe pair of hands. You can always put in no matter what your situation is, media, whatever. He's the guy to go out there and do that. And like he fought for it. So like I'm not going to shit on him for that. But Gunther to me is the more interesting champion. Like and I would love to see him beat Cody, but like I don't expect it. I expect it to be a great match, as you know, like we were, accustomed to seeing Gunther have. So I see Cody Rhodes going over.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Maybe there's going to be something nefarious going on. Maybe like Royce Keys has been involved, but he's not involved in the match. Again, I wish it was a triple threat because I don't think Royce Keys is hurt by taking a pinfall in a WWE title match.
Oh, I think so. I think this early on, he's looking great. This is like I feel like he's already if we're talking about, if we compare this to like Dragon Ball Z and anime, he's already surpassed his AEW Powerhouse Hobbs power level. He's not that far above, but he surpassed it
there yet for me. I just not because of what he's done, but like just the length of time.
Okay,
for me,
fair.
like
that's fair.
I'm still getting used to him being Royce Keys. Like that's still Powerhouse Hobbs to me.
Yeah, I understand that. I think I've already gotten used to him just being Royce Keys. Also, his theme song is pretty good. I actually like it. One of the few Death Rebel like bangers. They a broken clock is right at least twice a day, man. So going back to this match, I don't really like how they're handling Gunther because he just kind of comes off like a little bitch. And with Gunther, especially if you were to pair him up with a Brock Lesnar to be the one to retire him, that's not how you want him to be portrayed. If anything, you want him to be to be booked and portrayed how they do like Royce Keys, Obafemi, Roman Reigns to like a lesser extent, like a Samoa Joe. He's supposed to be a guy that comes in, people are afraid to face. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody's afraid because Royce Keys stepped up to him 2 weeks ago, and almost took that title. So I don't like the way they've gone about things. I don't want Gunther to lose because he's already lost to Cody Rhodes already in the past. I don't think this is going to be a clean finish. Someone's going to get involved. Randy Orton can be involved. Royce Keys can be involved. Sami Zayn could be involved. Honestly,
there's options, certainly. Like if there's one thing that they are doing right on SmackDown is there's always a set of guys ready to go. Like Sammy's a guy who, whether you like him or hate him, he's always somewhere near the top. He's always hanging around. Gunther's there. Priest can be turned on and off in that position as well, I think. So if there's one thing that they have going for them on SmackDown is Cody doesn't seem like there's any lack of competitors. It's just he for me is a little bit like stale at this point.
Yeah, I think that's just SmackDown in general. I think the only thing that's exciting with Cody Rhodes is if they, I don't know, I feel like they already kind of messed up my hype for Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. If maybe they can bring it back, but I think the only match I care about is CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the title, because they've been teasing that the minute Punk came back to WWE, and obviously teasing that they both came from AEW is also a great little like hint there. So that's probably the only thing I'm interested in looking forward to with the Cody Rhodes program. So we'll see. I agree with you. I'm gonna go with the safe bet here, and I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes because LOL, Cody wins. He's the new Cena. He's their John Moxley. Just their safe hand. He may be boring to some, but he's the constant in that promotion. So
you can't. Again, it's what it comes down to for me is you can't knock the guy who goes out there every week and sells those tickets and gets people there and goes out there. He cuts a more than competent promo. Sometimes he goes off the rails, but like he also has that sort of personality where like when he's going there, he wants you to almost know he's like he has that sort of way about him. I there's one thing about Cody Rhodes. I enjoy his podcast. I enjoy his interview style where he just gets smashed and talks to the wrestlers about.
That's your interview style. If you were to do one,
listen, not anymore, man, not anymore.
You just rip a bong.
Yeah, that's true. That's different though. That's different.
Same but different.
That's yeah. Cody's the same, and the same thing. Like I would say, Moxley and MJF are kind of like 1A and 1B.
Yeah,
for that in AEW because they're like Tony Khan just came out this weekend and said that when they are champion is when they do the best business.
Makes sense.
And you had mentioned other people as well. Like all those examples were perfect.
For sure. All right, so we're in agreement here. We got Cody both retaining against Gunther, unfortunately. Next up, we have what I assume to be the main event, Tribal Combat for the World Heavyweight Championship. Another, again, rematch city in Clash in Italy. Rematch from their
Backlash in Italy.
Backlash in Italy, yes. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. This is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most. And just because this, even though the program has been like a little rinse and repeat for a few weeks there, it's still interesting and exciting because that you're gonna get shenanigans. There's a bunch of interference in these type of matches, or it could just be a straight up clean brawl 1v1, but it's gonna go crazy. There's obvious implications here and stipulations, just not the title being the only one. Where if Jacob wins, he's essentially the new tribal chief. Like you're the new Roman Reigns, you're the head of the table, yada yada. Everything that would have gone to Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso were they to beat Roman Reigns. However, not only if Jacob lose here, does he not win the championship, he also has to fall in line with Roman Reigns and essentially join the bloodline by force, similar to when Wade Barrett made John Cena join the Nexus. So we'll see if he hits him with the "I love you, Roman" after this is all said and done. But I don't know. I'm interested to see at least the outcome of this match because regardless of the fact, it's going to be interesting one way or another. What about you, man?
I just don't want Jacob to eat another loss to Roman. I don't like. I not that I don't think that he's not Teflon. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it really hurts him that much, especially considering it's Roman. But I just don't want to see it. Like, and I don't really want to see him fall in line with the bloodline either. But
yeah,
for me, the biggest thing about going to Jacob first with Roman Reigns as champion is you missed an opportunity to really heat Jacob up. And now I feel like it's 2 months in a row of him eating losses to Roman. And if it just ends up with him becoming a lackey after that, then like,
right.
Are we really doing any services for Jacob Fatu?
Yeah, that's true.
I know that maybe the story ultimately is you're building the bloodline back up, but like,
for what?
I don't know. For exactly for who, for what?
For who? For what? What's the point? Just so that it can all dismantle from within, to set up a rock. I don't want that.
Jacob Fatu deserves better than this. Like, this is a guy who I would love to see actually, get this win. But it's just, I know it's not going to happen. Man, Roman Reigns looks old as hell in this picture.
He does. He does. It might just be the hue of the graphic. Because even Jacob looks a little beat in the face there. But it could just be the graphics. I liken this situation to the argument that everybody says, just because they're Mexican doesn't mean you have to put them in a feud with each other. Just because they're Samoan doesn't mean they have to feud for the bloodlines mantle, like head of the table. Because I feel like that's kind of like the motivation for every single match that Roman has with a fellow Samoan, unless his name is Joe, as like him. But that's always felt like what the motivation is, and the story always is. So it just feels a little rinse, recycle, and repeat. And I think the biggest thing here, it's the same thing they did with Cody and the CM Punk. You teased this big match, didn't give it to us right away. So now anything that happens in between CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, we don't care about, because we trying to get to the destination. We're not worried about like how we're getting there. We just take us to Punk Cody. Similar to this, literally like after WrestleMania night 2, when Roman walked away with the title, they immediately teased Obafemi versus Roman Reigns for the title. And one would think this is the SummerSlam match. And if this is indeed the SummerSlam match, why the fuck do we care about? Why do we believe that Jacob Fatu can beat a Roman Reigns going into that match with Obafemi? Don't get me wrong. I would mark the fuck out if we get Obafemi versus Jacob Fatu. That match would slap. You talking about meat slappers? That's a meat slapper right there.
Yeah.
But they've already telegraphed Roman versus Oba. So anything else other than those two, I feel like it's a detour. I don't know, man.
Fair. That's fair. It's one of the disadvantages to having Roman as the champion again, is like you kind of know what you're in for, and it's in the sense of like we're in good. It's going to be a lengthy title reign.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna beat everybody, and then he's gonna be gone again. And it's the same problem we had with Vince McMahon with the Brock Lesnar stuff. Like
That's
it is
true.
exactly the same problem with different management.
100%. So is it safe to assume you're also going Roman Reigns here in tribal combat?
Roman Reigns. It's the safest bet. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So that's what we got. Just to run things down, I got Roman Reigns beating Roman Reigns beating Jacob Fatu. I got Cody beating Gunther. I have Sol Ruka dethroning Becky Lynch. I have Rhea retaining against Jade Cargill. And I also have Obafemi defeating Brock Lesnar back-to-back victories. What about, and for Rylan here, he has Brock Lesnar getting his win back against Oba. He has Becky Lynch retaining. He also has Rhea, Cody, and Roman to round things out. Moving on, Rylan, going to the other show. Even though this is happening a few hours prior to Clash in Italy, I think this is the pay-per-view of the weekend. And of course, I'm talking about Noche de los Grandes, with probably the most heated feud in all of wrestling this calendar year. Obviously, the biggest feud prior to this was probably Swerve versus Hangman. I think was probably feud of the year prior to this. But yeah, this is the next feud, and we'll talk about it in the main event. The first thing we're going to talk about, though, on the card is another rematch. Another rematch. And in case those of you haven't tuned in to AAA's or WWE's YouTube channel for AAA programming on Saturday nights, free, by the way, Rey Mysterio was announced as the new general manager of AAA. So he's a manager player coach on WWE programming. And we had Rey Fenix take on Laredo Kid for Laredo Kid's Cruiserweight Championship. Laredo Kid faked an injury like he had concussed or something like that. Low-blowed Rey Fenix, got the win. After the finish, he gets confronted by Rey Mysterio. I'm like, hey, we're supposed to do things honorably. That's not the way to do things. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do things the honorable way. And he announced that next week we're going to have a rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship at Noche de los Grandes. Rey Fenix challenging Laredo Kid once again for his Cruiserweight Championship. But this time, we're going to see Laredo Kid be a true heel from start to finish and not just like the surprise heel turn at the end. So, one, Rylan, have you watched their first match from last week? And two, what do you think of this matchup?
I have not. As for what I think about the matchup, I've never been a big Laredo Kid guy, but
Neither have I, by the way.
But I mean, like it's fine. Like Ray Phoenix is one of the best luchadors in the world, bar none. And he is, I'm sorry, being so criminally underutilized since coming over to WWE. Talk about being in prison in AEW. At least he had some accolades in AEW. Like this guy, listen, like I understand that Penta got there first, and it's not like they came in together. So like Penta definitely did get the new guy shine that Ray Phoenix isn't getting.
Yeah.
I fully expect this to be a fantastic match. I don't know which way I'm going though. I don't think Ray Phoenix is going to win, but I guess it could go either way. I'm gonna say safe bet for me, Laredo Kid.
Okay. That's fair. So I agree with what you're saying in terms of Ray Phoenix. He hasn't really had the accolades. I feel like he's more or less status quo as he was with AEW towards the last couple weeks and months of his stint. Yeah, he had like a championship win here and there, but I also feel like that's just the luxury of AEW. You have so many singles titles for the men there. Like if you're not a tag team champion, you're a trios champion because they have those. You have the Continental Championship. You have the International Championship. You have the TNT Championship. And then obviously you have the main AEW World Title. On WWE programming, you're kind of stuck on one brand and you have one secondary title to go after, and that's the US title. And unfortunately, that's kind of wrapped up in something else. He looks like he's already been interacting with Sami Zayn, so you might see like a little feud there. And that's the thing I'm waiting for with Ray Phoenix. He hasn't really had a feud. He hasn't really had a program on main roster WWE TV. I would say at some point you should team him back up with Penta to just heat him back up. But on AAA here, he's a megastar. He gets one of the biggest reactions down south of the border over there in the AAA programming. And Laredo Kid is their cruiserweight champion. He has held it for, I can't even tell you. I think it might have been over a year at this point. He's had a lengthy title reign. He just turned heel. So I think that in of itself is going to be motive enough to keep the title on him because, yes, he was a champion for an extended period of time, but he was doing that as a clean-cut babyface. I think you're looking at like, hey, this is like when CM Punk turned heel on The Rock in the midst of his 434 title reign with the WWE title, and then the second half of this title reign is going to be as a heel, and I think you just gotta have to explore that and flesh that out because, like you, I have not been the biggest Laredo Kid guy. I haven't really cared too much for him. He just kind of looks like what your mom tells you when you say you want Ray Phoenix, and she says, "Well, you have Ray Phoenix at home," and it's Laredo Kid. Nothing against Laredo Kid, but that's just how I personally feel. I could be wrong with this heel turn. We'll see. I'm gonna go Laredo Kid. It's the safest bet here. And I think, honestly, they just have Ray Phoenix in here because he's a big name in Mexico, and it's just to build up this card.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Moving on, we have another title match, main roster talent as well. We have the War Raiders challenging Pagano and Psycho Clown for the AAA Tag Team Championships. And for those of you that may not know, War Raiders have come in and they essentially have become War Raiders again, like they were in NXT, just coming in, laying waste to people, unlike what they've been doing on Raw or SmackDown. We have Psycho Clown and Pagano kind of having like a little like issues between them. There's been attacks to the rest of Psycho Circus. At one point, Psycho Clown kind of like accused Pagano of doing this. Because he just happened to be wrong place, wrong time, and he just wouldn't be at the scene of the crime. He wouldn't be available when these attacks were happening. So it's more like, hey, what's going on? It's very soap opera-esque, and I love it. I think this could be a coin flip. You could see a situation because it's the tag titles. You've seen them go on guys. I think the Motor City Machine Guns picked it up. I could be wrong, but I know Los Garzas pick up the titles at some point as well. That's who Pagano and Psycho Clown defeated to become champions. And if they are going to continue this story with Pagano maybe being the one that turns heel, or Psycho Clown just having all this distrust against Pagano. Maybe it'd be better served without the titles and let the tag division flourish elsewhere. And why not put the tag titles on War Raiders, who, as we know, are a fantastic tag team. And there's a bunch of other tag teams in AAA that can go ahead and do some things as well. So before I give my pick, what do you know about this match going into it, and what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, like, I know of the feud going on, or the turmoil between Pagano and Psycho Clown. Look, I love them as a tag team, and I enjoy the unit in general. However, if, like you said, if you're going with this storyline and it seems to be the direction they're going, it makes the most sense to put the titles on a safe pair of hands, like the War Raiders, who can just come in and eat everybody alive and have cool matches and, continue to make everybody else look great too, while having a great tag run. And then we have this interesting program between Pagano and Psycho Clown that I think we could, definitely I could sink my teeth into.
Yeah, I agree. So is your official prediction here War Raiders over Pagano?
I would say so.
Okay. All right. Fair. Yeah, I'm also going to go War Raiders. I think it's probably the most interesting thing. Granted, they don't have to have the split here and continue that turmoil. But it could very well be the first stop here. If not, it might happen at Triple Mania, where you have the official turn and that's where they drop the titles. But, I think it'd be better served to do this, like, won't they turn on each other thing if they lose the titles. It feels very much like when Ray and Eddie were tag team champions, and then they just abruptly lost the tag titles to M&M. Let them go and build up the tag team division, and you continue that whole turmoil with Eddie and Ray. It feels very similar. So I'm going to go with you. I'm going to tag along with you and say War Raiders are the new AAA tag team champions. Moving on. We have another title match. This is for the AAA Latino American Championship. We have El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. versus someone else's son, El Hijo de Vikingo. So we got two sons of former wrestlers taking on against each other. Vikingo has been one of their best wrestlers in terms of like a high flying. Like if they were division, to me, this feels like a middleweight versus like a welterweight matchup. Like the best of the welterweights versus the best of the middleweights. And honestly, I could see a world where they put the Latino American Championship on Vikingo, because this is the guy that WWE wanted to push as their top draw, as their top champion, their Cody Rhodes, so to speak, for AAA. However, the AAA market and fan base just completely turned on him and he gave him the Roman Reigns treatment from like 2015. And then you have El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., where he's beloved. But he also just recently had his brother rejoin him in the promotion. So maybe he's going to go to the tag team route, and we see a matchup against War Raiders versus the Wagner brothers, And in my ideal 606 fantasy booking world, I'd have Viking Raiders join El Hijo de Vikingo and just be the Vikingo Raiders or some shit like that. Just create this faction. Just like you already have Omos in there, just add the Viking Raiders. Let like Hijo de Vikingo be that chicken shit, like tiny like heel that has all this muscle around him. Think Spike Dudley having the Dudley boys around him as he's like dominating the cruiserweight division on SmackDown in the early 2000s.
It's fair. So I think that this should go to Vikingo as well.
Okay.
You talked about how Dr. Wagner Jr. is beloved. He kind of fits the mold of the guy who should probably take the Mega Championship off of Dom.
Yeah.
Because
if it's not the winner of the main events.
That's fair. That's fair. But I also think that, well, I mean, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Now you've thrown me for a loop. You know what? I think this is going to Vikingo because I think you're right. I think they wanted to run with Vikingo, but because of the situation with the crowd turning on him, they obviously had to pivot. I think getting a title on him is important though, and I don't. And you said it yourself. Dr. Wagner is beloved. He doesn't need this title. It would benefit more on Vikingo. So I'm going to go safe bet Vikingo.
So I think my safe bet is to be status quo, because my only thing that makes me think that El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. is going to drop the Latino American Championship would be if he was going to start doing a tag team run with his brother now that he's in AAA officially. So if they're going to do the tag team thing, then it makes sense for him to drop the title to Vikingo, one of their top in-ring performers, and just let him have a heel run with the Latino American Championship. I just also don't know, because Vikingo has taken a lot of losses. He lost to a mini Vikingo in the last AAA show, the last time he had a match, and he hasn't come on top versus Dominic Mysterio. So you would think he's due for one, but I think given the fact that Dr. Wagner Jr. has only won the championship, I think it was at last year's Triple Mania. I think it's still too soon to have him drop the title, especially if no one's cooling down on him as champion. Why take the title off of him? I think about it.
Fair.
And they could still explore the tag team routes, and then eventually like have him drop that Latino American Championship down the road. Or I don't know. I'm gonna go El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. as a retention for him here in this match. But also this could be just like act one of a 3-match series too. So
it's true. It's true.
So I'm gonna say Dr. Wagner Jr. here as well. Okay. We're gonna move on to the second to last match here. Before we head out of here, Rylan, we got a 6-woman tag team match. We have the team of Las Tóxicas taking on the super team of Lola Vice, Bailey, and the brand new acquisition to AAA, La Catalina, who everyone may remember as the female Sin Cara back in the day, way back when. So I have my thoughts on this match, but I'd like to know what you think first, Rylan, before I give my official prediction. So what are your thoughts on this match? Have you seen the build-up and how we got here?
I have not. Look, Less Toxica, is that like the toxic attraction of AAA, or?
Well, technically I think they were doing it before, but essentially they're the like toxic attraction, or like the beautiful people of TNA, 3 heel women. Las Tóxicas just means the toxic chicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about a lot of these. Obviously Bailey and Lola Vice, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know what to expect, but I expect it to be entertaining. Like, again, the one thing that's really drawn me to watching AAA most weeks on Saturday nights is that it's pretty good front to back. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You usually get two to three really great, or 2 to 3 to 4 really good matches, and I am enjoying everybody. There's not somebody on this roster right now who I'm looking at and going like, I don't want anything to do with this person.
I have one guy, and that's Jack Cartwheel, who I just can't get behind. Like, your gimmick is that you do cartwheels, dude. Like, okay, cool. Like, that's probably like the only dude there.
They have a mini version of Vikingo, dude. Like, they're just like, hey, we have Vikingo, and then we have a smaller version of.
Yeah,
it's already small to begin with, but we found smaller.
Right. We could always go smaller. So okay, so just kind of like give a little background, just so you have a little thing going into this. So obviously Flammer is the longest reigning Reina de Reinas champion. She recently defeated Bailey and was saying that there was literally no one left for her to challenge. She's expended everyone from Raw, SmackDown, AAA, and everywhere else around the world. And that's when La Catalina makes her debut on AAA programming, coming over from CMLL, which is big, because that's still like WCW stars crossing over to WWE and vice versa. So that was a big deal as well, because she's one of the top stars that was leaving that female division. So she comes over here, is challenging them, but it becomes a numbers game between Las Tóxicas and La Catalina. Then obviously, because Lola Vice is the mixed tag team champion over there on AAA with Mr. Iguana, she was there. She's teamed up with La Catalina in the past. So they make this alliance as well. And then randomly, like 2-3 weeks ago, because there is that past of Flamer going one-on-one with Bailey, Bailey makes the unexpected like save to even up the odds. So it's just basically the super team Latinas versus the toxic Latinas. And I think because they haven't had that singles match yet for the title, I think this is going to be La Catalina pinning Flamer in this 6-woman tag match to set up that title match, probably at Triple Mania. So that's my opinion here. And then also, too, like as much as the Las Tóxicas are a force to be reckoned with in the women's division in AAA, you're looking at 3 like Avengers here in the Catalina, Bailey, Lola Vice side. Like you got 3 Latina Avengers on one side. Like, I'm sorry.
Fair.
What's your official prediction, by the way?
I'll go with the Avengers. Because for me, I feel like this is the match you put on before the main event, and you gotta like have that nice feel good moment where the good guys beat the bad guys.
Yeah, fair. All right. Speaking of the main event, is probably the match I've been looking forward to since like over a year now. We're talking about this is a lucha de apuestas. We have máscara contra máscara, mask versus mask. The loser will lose their mask. Who will be the last Americano standing? Will the Rio Grande Americano finally stand up after this match? We will see at the conclusion of it. We have the original Grande Americano who came in to this gimmick, basically doing a mockery and a parody of what Lucha Libre is, and Americans in the United States think Lucha Libre to be, with the over-the-top music, the over-the-top like phrases, and then the tassels, and then even the mask is like very, like, I don't know if you noticed the masks, but they look very different. Like you look at El Original Grande Americano, his mask, the horns, they kind of look like Psychosis horns that stick out, or like Liger, Yushin Thunder Liger's horns. And then you have the Grande Americano that has embraced Mexico and its culture and its people and its traditions, speaks the language, created a faction in Bravo and Rayo Americano. Whoever these guys are, I have no idea, but they've taken the world of Lucha Libre by storm. And so we have to see who wins this. We have to have a result. And honestly, this was the only way this feud was going to end. It's a mask versus mask match. And I have my favorites. I'm hoping it's him. But before we get into it, what's your take on this match? What's your prediction on this match? And how do you feel about this match going into it? How invested are you versus me?
I can't believe that these 2 white boys are headlining this pay-per-view. No, it's so WWE that is the reality. But I will say, like, listen, El Grande Americano started off as a bad gimmick at a time where we really didn't need that sort of a situation. I do think that credit needs to be given to Chad Gable for trying something different. And while I do think he was finding it before he got hurt. And it just so happened that while he was hurt, we were just like, well, we've got Kaiser here and we're not doing anything with Kaiser. And let's just throw him in this and see how he does. And it just so happened that he did even better than you could have expected.
Right.
Like, knew the language, knew how to sing in the language, knew like everything that went into being this character. Like you said, grabbed 2 guys and made them Rio and Bravo and really got over in AAA very quickly in a big way. It makes no sense for El Grande America, El Original Grande Americano to go over in this match. It makes no sense. Chad Gable can come back to WWE television, and this experiment, if anything, was risky at times, but I do think ultimately it paid off for I would say both. I would say both guys like got a bit of a shine, because if anything, we know Chad Gable, when the bell rings, is very competent, and he had plenty of great matches as this character. So
I will say that I don't think with the Chad Gable stuff, I think it was just more so to just kind of like, oh, we just bought AAA. This is gonna be the dastardly heel, the one guy that's gets under everybody's skin and yada yada. And then he got injured, and we didn't really get to see what he was doing, but he was trying. At least his direction was, hey, do a parody of what you think Lucha Libre is, and it was clear that once it went over to Ludwig, it evolved to something completely different. Like even just like the mask and the gear, like yes, Ludwig's version, the current Grande Americano has the tassels and stuff, but it's not over the top like bunch of tassels on there. The mask, the horns. If you look at the design, like it looks more like eagle wings on the Ludwig version of it. And then when they stick up, they kind of like it's almost like a Batman mask, where like it's almost like pointing inwards and up, versus the original one where it just kind of like I mentioned, it kind of looks like that Psychosis Liger thing, where they just like two horns in the front. And that's my main difference, is that it's night and day. And I think that the current El Grande Americano, I think, will be fine if he were to lose this and lose his mask. However, it'd be the equivalent of taking off Rey Mysterio's mask in WCW. Rey Mysterio was perfectly fine, but you lost something. You lost a piece of him. And then, like you mentioned, like the original Grande Americano can lose his mask and be Chad Gable the following Monday, and status quo, like nothing ever happened, you know?
100% agree.
Yeah, so I'm going to go El Grande Americano second, version 2.0. That's the one I'm going to go with. And
I would agree with you on that. I would definitely agree.
I think this match is going to be crazy. I think you're going to see Los Hermanos Americanos, Bruto and Julio, be involved at some point. I think you're going to see Rayo and Bravo Americano as well. It's going to be, this might be better than anything that happens on Clash in Italy the following day.
I think that this will set the bar for the weekend. Absolutely.
Agree. But that's our predictions. I have version 2.0 Grande Americano being victorious here, as well as Hijo de Vikingo Jr. have him retaining his title. I have the team of Lola Vice, La Catalina, and Bailey beating Las Toxicas. I have Laredo Kid defeating Rey Fenix, and then I have the Viking Raiders becoming the new AAA Tag Team Champions. Rylan agreed on everything minus the Vikingo Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. match, where we differed. He thought Vikingo could get it, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case. So, with that being said, Rylan, tell everyone that now has welcomed me into the Wallop family that don't normally know where the Wallop family is can be found.
YouTube.com/Wallop Media Inc. is where you can find all of our content. As well, for audio listeners, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, like we're everywhere. Every Friday we drop a new episode of something. We put a schedule out at the beginning of every month. And like, as we mentioned off the top, like the 606 Podcast is coming over to Wallop Media, and the content that the 606 Podcast has been producing is slowly coming onto our YouTube channel as well as our audio feeds will slowly but surely start to receive it. So if you want to continue to support Vince and his venture, just know that like he's got a red jersey on, but he's also wearing a purple sweater under that jersey. No, we couldn't be more thrilled to continue to have Vince be a part of our family over here at Wallop Media. So if you guys enjoy what he does, we can't wait to have you a part of our ship as well.
Yeah, of course. And then for everyone that's Wallop Media that has enjoyed me or has been interested in seeing more of me from the Wallop Rewinds, you can still follow and find everything 606 at 606 Universe on all social medias, at YouTube. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music as well, among other things. Maybe Stitcher too. I can't recall. I got to really see where our RSS feeds are at the moment. It's been a year. Give me a minute. But the way I look at it is, if 606 is my home and road jersey, the Wallop Media banner now is my cool black Chicago pinstripes jersey. It's my alternate jersey that I still wear. So, it's all one brand, one home, one cornucopia, or whatever it's called. I'm running out of adjectives, or is it the adjective or is it the verb? I can't remember what is it that Kevin Nash was supposed to say.
I was going to say, let's ask Kevin Nash.
But with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Check out Wallop Media. Check out 606. We're all one happy family now. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, y'all.